Well, first and foremost, can you guys see the trend journal that we have? Let me know if you can see the trend journal that we go over. If not, then what are you looking at on my screen? So let me know. Can you still hear me too? Can you still hear me? No. What the fuck? No, 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 no. Okay, one sec. Check, check, check screen. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Loud and clear. All right, cool. So, let me know if you can see the trend journal that we go over, and if not, then I'll fix that. Okay, so for news, we were talking about what news we have the rest of the week. It looks like we have GDP tomorrow, so that'll be pretty important. That'll be kind of showing how much the country has grown. And then what do we have on Thursday? We got jobless claims. That'll be a good one. PCE, that'll be a good one. Those will all be volatile. And then PMI on Friday. Yeah, PMI on Friday, which that'll be decent as well. So the last 2 days we've had two inside days, which have been boring as shit. We literally had one closing 15-minute candle outside the first 15-minute candle over the last 2 days. It's just been insane. It's super choppy, pretty boring for indices, but under the surface we have seen some good movements. Nothing is really going down heavy. That's good. So that's a plus. So even though the indices aren't moving, we're not seeing heavy moves to the downside in stocks. They're kind of just consolidating too. And then, thank you, Syntax. And then also, we are seeing a kind of a rotation into some really good small caps. Small caps like Lemonade that they were running the last few days. Uh, bank stocks are looking really good. And then today we had cruise lines look very, very good. And then also crypto, of course, as we all know, has been fucking rallying. This all is a super good risk off and or risk on environment. So everybody's buying risk. Things have been going up. We are on day 35 of our trend. The last trend that we had went 40 days. So we're going to see how much we go if we're going to continue today to 40 or if it's going to pull back. We had a stress test at day 35 last time. We had a stress test just 2 days ago on Monday at day 12. And because Monday was a stress test, is because we had a downside reversal on Monday. We can, was that Monday or Friday? The 23rd. That was Friday. And so we kind of came up and then took out some highs and then closed at the low of the day. Not too big of a deal. The last 2 days have just been an inside day. So we've seen no follow through really in selling. We haven't really seen very heavy, any sort of real distribution over the last few days. We've seen crypto stocks just go absolutely insane. We had a phenomenal Coinbase play that went 330% or so. It went 30% in equity wise over the last 4 days. That was phenomenal. We'll go over that. And then, oh, and if you were in Robbie's Clean Spark, that had a great move as well. And you're seeing continuation with a lot of these small caps and a lot of the like the QQQJ that I've been talking about, the IPOs getting ready to break out. A lot of stuff that are in stage one that are coming out into stage two from stage one that are starting to really look good. And so that's what I really want to see a continuation and to see this hold. We are still seeing a potential kind of weak month, so we could see like a choppy or even a downward side in the month. In the almanac, which is where I get all of my statistics that I use, It does mention that mid-month strength is kind of imminent in March. So you do kind of see some decency in the middle of the month, and then again, kind of an end of the month downside move. And so we're just gonna keep an eye on that. On February Friday, March 22nd, it says March historically weak later in the month. Not anything that we really play anything off of, but we do look at it for just us knowing the seasonality. We're gonna play with price action, obviously, but keeping it in the mind and be mindful of it in the back of our head. And then on the 26th, for March 26th, it says start looking for a Dow and S&P sell signal around the April, which is whatever to me. I don't fucking look at MACD, but it's just kind of looking that the end of March could be a little more choppy. That's fine. April in election years is the second strongest month in the Nasdaq. So if we do get some, I would love some consolidations. Your top stocks are pretty extended right now. And so I do want to see some sort of consolidation. Let the moving averages come up and then come back down. I'm looking at your Excel sheet, not your charts. Yep, I'm on the Excel sheet still because right now it's just kind of more seasonality and how we're going to run with our trends and what we're looking for. And so I am kind of hoping for a consolidation. Again, if we could get a 2 week consolidation, 3 week consolidation, allow moving averages to catch up, and then not be so extended, and then allow things to kind of continue moving, that would be ideal. If we get low volume pullbacks and into those moving averages or into key levels, again, those will be looking for buying areas. March is historically a consolidation month for Bitcoin too. That works out wonderfully with the correlation and the historical facts. So next we will go to the charts. Let me know if you can see the charts now. It should have switched over to TradingView. And we're going to go to NASDAQ 4-hour. So let me know if you see the charts. Yep, perfect. So this is what I really was watching today that I liked that the Nasdaq did. It's been consolidating, so it hasn't really done shit. I actually would have liked it to undercut a little more, but you do see this slight undercut here of this low. This was a low that kind of created this consolidation, and now we've seen a undercut and heavy bounce back up. And so if we can hold around here and if the GDP and everything comes good, that would look for me to at least come up to this little wick high here, if not these highs here. The natural bull run, so in a bull run, what they can what the you consider a bull run is literally just the bottom of the bear run into the high of the bull run. So right now, the average bull run for the Nasdaq is roughly 900 days. And that would bring us out to March of 2025. So, the average bull run for the S&P 500 is 771 days, and that would bring us out to November. So I'm looking at, if we get pullbacks, I'm still looking for potential moves going into November, December, and January. So looking for buys on pullbacks, loving if we can get some consolidation and allow really maybe some shakeouts would be really good, some consolidation, and allow things to kind of go. It's not looking like we're going to get any sort of, we don't have any signs of it yet. Like if you look at this daily chart right here, there's no real sign of distribution. There's no displacement to the downside that is breaking any levels. You have this low here. We never had a displacement candle. We never had a candle close below this low. And so we're not seeing any sort of displacement. We actually wicked below into this bullish order block here. because this created a new high, wicked into this bullish order block, and then continued higher on displacement. And this was with Nvidia's earnings. So we are looking to, like in my opinion, it's not looking bearish at all. Really just kind of looking to come up to these highs from to last week's highs. News obviously can change that, but that's kind of the main thing that I'm looking at. Where's my So next I'm going to go into DXY. This is really kind of in a shitty spot. Your moving averages are just kind of all together. They're not really doing much. You are below your 21 moving average, which nothing good happens below your 21-day moving average. You're below your 10-day moving average. So short term, you are not bearish, but you're on the edge. You're in yellow flag territory. You don't see any sort of displacement to the downside. Again, just similar to what we were seeing with the NASDAQ though. Right here, this is our low. You see no displacement below this low on this daily chart. We're just kind of getting below it, wicking above, getting below it, wicking above. So until we get a real sign of which direction this thing's going to go, it's just there's nothing really for it. It's right at its 200-day moving average. It's not respecting it. It's not respecting it. The 200-day moving average is going sideways, which is just kind of a sign that it needs more time. It's not doesn't have any true direction. You have your 50-day moving average down here, which is starting to curl up. So if we do get a pullback, we'd be looking to bounce off of that 50-day moving average. So DXY, not really anything that I'm liking. You have this few day trend line that I am watching. It's starting from February 13th, so about a 2 week long trend line. So if we do happen to be able to break this, I might see for a move up to somewhere around these highs. I want to see if we get displacement around it as well and how we react to these highs. If we just get above them and then reject right away, then I'll be looking for lower prices. I'll be looking for down here most likely, at least to this level. But as of right now, there's not really any sign of up or down. Just lame. Next, UJ. This one is very, very nice. Nothing wrong with it. You are seeing some sneaky signs of a consolidation. Nothing true into a distribution yet because we don't have any red candles really on a weekly chart. But similar to how we were looking at DXY to close at this swing low here, you are seeing, if we start seeing a really heavy rejection, like a downside reversal on a weekly chart. So similar to this candle right here, or this candle right here. Yeah, something like that. If we start seeing like a downside reversal similar to some of these candles, then I'll be looking, okay, it might be time to pull back a little bit more. But as of right now, nothing wrong with it. Still going, just kind of sideways, been sideways for 3 weeks now. Today's daily candle, I really, really like. So we take on our moving averages. You are at your 10-day moving average, which is key, or else we would come down to this 21-day moving average most likely. Oh, excuse me. What I like it is it undercut this last 3 days essentially. This is the open of Thursday, 1, 2, Friday, and Monday. Undercut all of that and then bounced right back up, just as it should. Break down to a 4 hour. It's showing that it's not quite ready yet because in a 4 hour you are still kind of getting these, you're not fully getting some like heavy full body candles. These are still heavy wicks to the upside. Right here, you're in this fair value gap. So you're still seeing some sort of, it's an indecision. It's not ready on the 4 hour, but the daily is looking pretty good. If we could get a small pullback on the 4 hour and then form a swing low and then break out again, or just get a stronger candle, like it closes in 10 minutes, so I doubt it will. then I will be looking to go to the upside here. Let me see if I can find a something. This is a strong high right here. Maybe if we come down to here. This is a strong low because it created a new high right here. If we could come somewhere around this level, then I would and then have a strong bounce off of it, then this might be a good level for longs. We'll stop below this low. Look for look for at least these highs right here. Yeah. Yeah, I would look for those highs because we already took out this high, took out here. I don't like that. Don't mind that it undercut this, but it makes the 4 hour chart, the 30-minute chart look not as good. 4 hour looks better. How it wicked under. That I like. So I am looking for a small pullback, but this is kind of all, again, it's just in this shit consolidation. So once it finally gets out, then it's going to be a little better to trade. QQQJ, this is the one that I've been talking about a lot. We need some displacement above this candle right here, this 2806. Till then, we're just going to be kind of ranging, and we could even see another pullback back to this 2760 or even undercut and get to this 27 level. That would be perfectly fine. I would love to kind of top here, form a swing high, and then form a higher low than this low here. So that would be key. Form a higher low from this low, somewhere around these two levels, and then we would be looking to come back up to 30. And what this is, this QQQJ is key for growth stocks, IPOs, things like Square, things like Fresh, Lemonade, a lot of your growth tech stocks that we have, AI stock, like things like that. That's what's going to be in your QQQJ. So once you see a heavy movement on that, you're going to see a bigger movement in a lot of like smaller caps tech stocks. And those are really what I like to play, what I like to trade. Always have a fast beta. They move very fast and they trade very clean. Again, this is FFTY, which is your IBD 50, which your IBD 50 is your top 50 stocks in the market. They tend to be um, a really good tell of how the true market is as well. As this breaks out, the breadth of the market usually expands. And so that's why I watch this as well. It's more of a market sentiment. I will not trade it. It has no liquidity in it, so don't even fucking try. But it's a market sentiment similar to ARK, similar to QQQ. I just look at these to kind of see what's going on under the surface as opposed to just your QQQ, SPY, Dow, IWM. Your RBD 50 bout. So IWM, this is the next one. Very, very close to this breakout. It looks incredibly similar to Snowflake right here. If you just instant replay Snowflake to this, that looks very similar to IWM and how it is right now. So this looks incredible. I think if we can get over this 205 level, 204.67, but if we can get to 205 and just continue, then there's no doubt that we're coming to this 212 bare minimum right here. That'll be a good heavy level because there's all of this overhead resistance here. We'll probably not get above it right away. We'll probably wick above it and then not be able to hold it right away because there's so much that the first time you're gonna tap it, there's gonna be people, the sell orders are just gonna go crazy. And they're gonna be trying to get out. So you're not gonna get it through this right away. You're probably gonna get up to it, consolidate, maybe come back here, and then finally break through it, maybe April, June, somewhere around there. But I love this chart. This is gonna continue, as I said, with the breadth of the market, which expands. You want to see a healthy breadth when you're looking at the market. Like today, if you look at your This is one thing that I always look at for breadth. Stocks on up in volume, you have 398. Then if you go stocks down on high volume, and this is just on deep view, which I use this a lot. I've been over it a lot in our streams. You only have 87 stocks down on heavy volume. So you have a 4 to 1, over a 4 to 1 ratio of stocks heavy up on volume than down on volume. So you see you have a very healthy breadth. Right now, biotech stocks seem to be doing very, very strong as well. They're hard to trade, and I don't really like to, but they are doing very well. I will go over XBI here in a little bit too. So Coinbase, this is the last trade that I had that we closed out. I closed out all but one. I just left one contract for a little runner, see what happens with it. We got in here on this little breakout of this small little pivot, and it was kind of almost like a type 1. I got it in above here, and then we use this as a support and resistance, which I was thinking, okay, you could have used that, but it probably needed to come down to here one more time. So I used my stop down here. We actually got in up here, and then my stop was down here, down at this low. I wanted a daily close below the low, and my stop was a daily close below that previous day that I got in. So that day that I got in on the Thursday, my stop loss was a daily close below that very low, which that was right here. We did not close below. We wicked underneath, which was fine, but we did not close below. So next Monday, we continued higher. We just ripped up just as we were expecting and closed at the highs. First target was about 180-ish. So I did take a good trim just to get some in, lock some in, get some gains, and keep my profits. And then I just left the rest of the position for a swing trade. We opened up here right around 410, and I just was watching the first 5 minute candles. And as it broke kind of this level, I was just like, that was my plan, was to ride it up to this high. Was this high was my plan, the 193. I gave it a little extra, got to 205. So I was going to follow my plan, take what I had, and get most out. I have one left, which is nothing to me, that's whatever. But I wanted to follow the plan. I even told player multiple times, told multiple people, didn't want to swing for the fences. Yes, Coinbase can continue. Yes, crypto looks great. It can come to the next level. I'm watching if it can hold here. Is this 217 level? But I didn't want to get greedy, and I wanted to make sure that I did follow my plan and be disciplined enough to follow my plan. Look at the volume on this too. You had a heavy, heavy volume on the up move, and then a heavy volume on today's move, which was kind of nothing. Just a gap up and did nothing throughout the day. You bounced right off the 10-day moving average. You're above your 50, above your 21, above your 200. That's generally what I like to look for. And yeah, so that's Coinbase. We ended up taking total, I think it was about a 4.5, roughly a 4.5 R, 4.25 R. That doesn't seem right. Whatever, already it's 4.5 R roughly. After trimming half of it at 3R for 1.5, half of it at 6R for 3, yeah, that'd be a 4.5 R. So that was Coinbase. Great move. We had about 380%, 330% in options. Next, Roblox. This, I was actually looking for a little quicker move, but it's still not disrespecting any sort of TA, so it's still valid. What my stop is a weekly close. I don't want to see a weekly close or a heavy displacement below last week's low. Even a daily close below here. If we had a daily close below here, I'd probably at least look towards trimming, cutting half or reducing risk. As of right now, you like everything else, you're not seeing heavy displacement. You're not seeing a displacement to the downside, just kind of trickling down. If you look at the volume, it 100% confirms this. How do I get rid of this? No, no news. See, you have a heavy up move and then just kind of no volume, below average volume and kind of declining at the same time. So this is more of a very similar to Coinbase, where it has that cup and handle little feel, cup handle here, and then once it really breaks above this 73 level, then we'll come to 76 or 43, then it will come to 46. So we got in here, somewhere around here, stop loss here, first target at this level, second target at this level. So if we do continue to pivot, see how many times we've come up to this 43 or 47, 47, 47. Hit. So that's going to be where we're looking. And then every time we get above that, you come to 53. Boom, 53, above 47, 53. So this is what I'm looking for on Roblox. If it do see some displacement down, it might see a wick down, come to this 200 EMA, and then bounce right back. We'll see what our contracts look like and how the daily chart and weekly charts looking as it gets to that level if it doesn't bounce tomorrow. Hopefully, the goal is tomorrow is going to be a good, like everything is going to look well. Tomorrow could be a good up day. We'll be able to see some movements in this contract finally. Next, a couple stocks that I was watching. Well, I am still. I was watching Hood. I mentioned this last week. With their earnings, they were holding up very well, and they continued now. Not actionable in any way possible. Too extended. Next would be JWN, which it has earnings soon, so this could be a good earnings run-up trade. I would like some sort of a pullback on a shorter term time frame, and then you could be able to get in with a stop. I was looking to get in right here on this pivot, but Macy's had earnings, and so I didn't really want to fuck around with it. But then Macy's didn't really do anything for earnings. So that's JWN. This is a really long-term weekly chart trade too. So this should have a good move at least up to this 200 EMA on the weekly chart. Notice the volume though on this breakout. I want to see a heavier volume this weekly candle. KSS I like even better. It's a little more symmetrical, and it reminds me of GPS gap before it kind of had its move to the upside. So here's gap. It had this little kind of double bottom here, and then pivoted to the upside. And then if you look at KSS, a very similar double bottom, could see a pivot to the upside up to this $35 level. They have earnings next week, 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. So you could also again see a good earnings run up on this one. Great upside reversal today off the 50-day moving average. This could potentially, if we have a good day tomorrow, this could be actionable tomorrow. Stop loss below this 21-day, looking to come up to here, 6 to 1 right there. Again, you'd have to see what kind of volume we have, but this looks very valid. Lemonade I'm watching for earnings today, and they are down. This was a great chart. Very clean, very low volume. See how it had heavy volume up, low volume down, and then continued to the upside here. This was one I didn't want to trade too much. I don't know this stock very well, but the earnings it looks like it's down about 20%, 10%, 10%. Yeah, 10% from earnings. So we'll see how it reacts tomorrow. Looks like they beat though. Minus 6.1, minus 8.2. So they're up quarter over quarter. Let's see, year over year, minus 9.3, minus 6.1. They're up very, very good year over year. Their fucking sales are terrible. Like not even 100 million in sales. Well, barely 100 million in sales. That's terrible. Next one that I'm very interested in for possible entries here very soon is Carnival Cruise. Similar to this trade, that same trade almost that we did last time. You got this order block on the weekly chart here. Came down, trying to pivot, form a swing low. If we close like this on a weekly chart, this will form a swing low on a weekly, and that'll be just what we want. gap up today from Norwegian Cruise Line earnings, and we gapped up right above, which anchor view up is it? Is this one? Yeah, this one. Right above the anchor view up from this specific high, from the February 1st, which is the monthly anchor view up, and also this specific high. So I really like that. You can essentially use a daily stop. I want to look at it, see if it goes sideways the next few days. But you could use a stop with this anchored VWAP because it shouldn't get much below it if it's going to continue higher. You shouldn't really see, look at right here, you're below the anchored VWAP. You never really seen a move to the downside below that anchored VWAP. This is the last trade we did from Norwegian Cruise Lines. Very, very similar. You had a gap up above an anchored VWAP, and then you never seen a close below that anchored VWAP. Similar to that. And then I think we came right to, I want to see this real quick. Nope. Oh, sweet. Now we're above the anchored VWAP from the October low, which makes it even better. So this has a lot of confluence to it that this level should hold right here, at least this 1550 level. Maybe wick underneath and then bounce back, but we shouldn't really see a heavy move below this level. So we could get a day or two of sideways action. That could give us a base to come off of, or even if we get to the low end of yesterday's range and don't show any sort of displacement into that level, then we'll be looking for longs on this at least up to this anchored view up here. We're going to turn this red. Anchored view up here, which is about a 4R. And then the real move would be probably this high, which is the anchored view up from here, the one that we're above now. So when you get above an anchored view up, your goal essentially is to get to that high that the anchored view up's from. And so right here, that would be our next high. So that would be about a 6R. And then if we do something like this and do look for a larger move, then we could look for it to come back up to here, which would be about a 7R. So this is one that I'm very interested in, and definitely really wanting to look for entries within the next few days. This is another one very similar, which is just Citigroup. We're above. This is we're above the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. Finally getting this pivot here. Above your 200 EMA on the weekly chart. So we could see even just a small move up to this last weekly high. That would be a fairly easy move. Then Snowflake, we have earnings on this tomorrow. So I really want to see how this reacts with earnings. I'm more watching this for earnings. I'm not trading earnings. I do think it's going to continue higher to this 246 level. It's probably underneath the expected move, but I do think Snowflake looks incredible. Look at the volume on the sells, very little volume on the sells, very heavy volume on the buys. They're showing accumulation. This is showing institutional accumulation here. And then last and long is Unity, which they just had earnings, and it looks like they beat expectations by 110%. Phenomenal. Year over year, they are up. Let me look. Minus 0.004. Wow, they're up incredible year over year. And then quarter over quarter, they're even up immensely as well. About 100% almost. Quarter over quarter. And then sales are up about 10%. So this Unity looks really good. I don't like the moving averages, how the moving averages look on this. We're below every single one. It's in a downtrend. I don't like that. So this is not nearly actionable anytime soon. I would want to see bare minimum get above the 10 and 21 day moving average, just like this. 10 21 or something like that. get above, come down, form a small base, bounce off of it again, and then run to your upside. But this daily candle here looks very, very similar to your daily candle from your last earnings. Boom, and here. So that is why I am looking at it, and I want to see if it continues to show strength, similar to this last earnings as well. Once we do get above this high here, then you're more likely to at least come to these highs, and then you might see some sort of inverse head and shoulders style where it could go sideways, come up, come down, and then finally break out. So this is one that I'm going to be watching for a while. I'm very interested in it. I do love the company. I love the chart. This has been in a 2 year kind of basing pattern. So if it does kind of break out, this is going to have a huge breakout. So that's all for today. I got a few stocks to watch, trades went over, and then kind of market and seasonality. Any questions or stocks that anybody's looking at too? Somebody said Adobe. Yeah, this looks like shit. If you want to short something, I told Fancy this today. If you want to short something, short Adobe. This shit looks terrible. You are starting to see like less setups, I will say that. I don't see nearly as many setups. Stops above this high right here, targeting this low. Very simple, very easy. Upwork was another one that was damn near the same fucking setup. Break below here. Short stops above this. And then what is this? 15 to 13, so $2 essentially. So that would be 13, $2 down would be 11. So something like this. So that would be two possible short setups that I am watching, but I'm probably not going to trade them. I just like to chart them. Just because right now, like bull markets are not a time to be shorting. So I'm just watching to see if they happen to set up. So I do see a few charts. We got Baba. I love it. Above your 50-day moving average, above your 21, above your 10, above your 30. That's beautiful. You are not above your 200-day moving average, but it is trying to start to go sideways. Once we get back above these highs here, this like pretty much 78, 79 level. Once we get right back above here, if we could get some displacement back above here, which is also these pivots from like November, December, and early Feb, get above these pivots, we'll get to the 200-day. Once we get to the 200-day, we'll probably go sideways a bit more, come back here. I think this has, how long is this? I don't think it'll have 100 days. So every day goes back here. Where is this 200-day at? Where is it taking in? Oh, that's good. So your 200-day, this is a little learning thing right here. Go 200 days back, and that's right here. I'm going to get rid of all of these other ones. 200 days back is right here. So that means this is taking in all of this data. This is the data that it's taking in. Where to go? Is all of this. So in the next few days, let's say 2 weeks. Yeah, next 2 weeks, it's going to get rid of all of this data. And it's only going to be looking at these. And if price is somewhere up here, closer to where the data it's taking in is, then this is going to start flattening out. It's going to start going like this. And this is what we want to see. And then as it's starting to flatten out, if we could get a good move above a flat to rising 200-day moving average, boom, come back, retest, maybe break above, consolidate for a few weeks, not days, few weeks, and then see a good move. That would be like super fucking clean. I would really like that. But I do like Baba. I really like Baba. The volume tells me a lot. If you go to a volume, you don't see heavy, especially a weekly volume. Let's go to a weekly chart. Look at these buy spikes. You have one sell spike that's decent, but everything else is buy spikes. Ever since this month right here, Feb 2022, about a year, buy spikes, buy spikes. Just kind of declining volume here. And then this one sell spike, not too bad. So I want to see it again, a heavy skyscraper right here, anywhere around here. I want to see a heavy skyscraper for a volume. These volume blocks, shit. These volume blocks right here that are just super high up, they're volume skyscrapers. That's what a lot of people call them. And those are what you really want to see. That shows institutional accumulation. That shows institutions are getting into this chart. And once we start seeing a couple more heavy volume spikes, then that's where we're going to look to. I'm going to really look for it. A crypto stock, a China stock I'm liking a little more too is this Futu. I think this is really clean. You have this trendline bounce. If it can get above these 200-day moving average on the weekly, it's already almost above its 200-day moving average, and you're seeing some more heavier buy volume. So if we can get above here on Futu, this is going to be one that I really like too, especially if we hold above this 50-day moving average and possibly retest it. SPR, Spirit Aerosystems. Let's see, let's see. This is nice. Shit. That's nice. I like those highs. I like this. I like that. Dig deeper. Bullish fair value gap on the weekly. This came down to almost held this fair value gap. Actually, it did hold this fair value gap. See, you don't have any closing candles below this fair value gap even. So I like that. It's respecting bullish order flow. See, I look at a lot of this type of shit, and then I look into my moving averages to confluence them all out. Daily is choppy as hell. Almost above its 50-day. I'd say above this high. Above that high here, then I'd be looking for this 32 level, 32.50. This looks really good though. Let's look at some volume. Not a fan of this, but that's okay. Dig into a 4. This is an airline, right? Industrials, aerospace and defense. Okay, not an airline. They build planes for Boeing, Airbus. Okay, similar. One thing I do like is if you notice this relative strength right here, now I'm on deep view. So this is kind of something else I go through is I run them through deep view and trading view a lot. You see this relative strength 3 months, 62. It's the relative strength 1 month, 78. That means it's getting stronger compared over the last month. It's showing strength as compared to the rest of the year, the market. Industry group 20, 21 12 months ago. Now it's industry group 16. It's in the top 20 industry groups. I like that. This is looking good. Really. If we get above this pivot, we should hold this low. So let me get back to trading view. It looks a little cleaner. Let me get rid of these moving averages. They don't mean shit right now. Notice we're holding this bullish order flow in the shorter time frame as well. If we get above this pivot here at 29.18, we should hold this low for sure. You could set a stop at this low most likely, and then look for higher targets up to here. Yep, look at that. Above this anchored view up, just what we want. My guess is we should be above this anchored view up as well. Not quite. Yeah, which so this anchored view up, what I did was I put an anchored view up at this high because that's the high that came down to this like low volume pullback. Low volume, super low volume in this pullback. Once we get above that anchor view up, which is that pivot that I was looking at in the 1 hour, we should come to this next pivot at 29.87, and that would bring a move at least to this high 30 and then looking for here. So I would do something like this. Like this is your entry, low risk entry. This is your first target. This is your low risk entry, confirmation, first target, second target. And then a breakout would be your Valhalla. That's like going for, I don't really trade like the breakouts as much. I more trade like up to the breakout and then hold runners for the breakouts. And so that's kind of how I would trade it. Or you could, if you're doing equity, you could do a stop loss down below this low right here and then trade for at least the target for the trade for the breakout. That one's that one. This one looks solid. CLSK, CLSK. Insane moves, insane moves. This one's crypto. Set. We're going to get a log scale. Zoom in. Weekly chart at this high. Which means if we reject here, we could look to come back to this level right here, this 10, $11, 10.90, 11, and form like a little another right shoulder. Ideally, we would be able to hold. This is a clean little breaker here. So this level would be kind of where I would be looking for longs. If we reject here, right here, we're too extended. Too extended, you can't. Ooh, that's a 200 EMA on the weekly. There's triple confluence breaker, unicorn, 200 EMA on the weekly. This kind of inverse head and shoulders little look for a handle. This is that level. I'm actually going to put an alert right here at, it's kind of a large level, but that's okay. I'll put an alert at 1336, see if we can get down to it. That was the breakout. That was the breakout of this inverse head and shoulders. Now we can pull back, form uh, another handle. Looking on a daily, nothing showing that we're even going to come down at all. Very similar to Coinbase. above your 10, 21, 50 day. Oh, it's your 50-day moving average as well. Lots of confluence in this level right here. Lots of confluence in this level. So yeah, if you reject here, I would at least come, you'd be looking to come to here as a short term, see how you react at this fair value gap that we just created today. And then if we do hold it, maybe come back up for a type 2 and see how we react at these highs again. Maybe overcut it if we break out. Then it would be looking for higher movements, higher levels. Crypto is very, very good. Crypto looks phenomenal. Above this, I'd say above 2360, 2366. There's nothing holding it from 42. Absolutely nothing. This is just, it's going to go straight there. This is going to moon. Fucking moon. Yeah, this looks super good. And if you're not in it, I would either use a really tight stop loss, that fair value gap from here on a daily, and then use the low of that fair value gap as a stop, or wait for a pullback, a small little pullback. But this looks phenomenal. Roblox I did go over already, so I'll go over it very quickly again. Right now, we're above this 200. We are kind of converging at all the moving averages here. If we don't get displacement below last week's low, then I'll be looking to hold it and still ride it back up to here. Tomorrow's the news is going to really determine most likely the rest of the week. So if we do hold tomorrow, I'll most likely hold it the rest of the week. If we do pull back, depending on the candle of the daily candle, I'll be looking, if we do undercut this heavy, then I'll probably get out and look for a bounce around here and maybe get back in or whatever. So we'll wait on that one. Ideally, we want to see a move above 43. That's going to be our full confirmation. Once we get above the high of the day we got in, Thursday, February 22nd, get above that high, we're going to be looking to come at 47 to 53. That's our goal. So our goal now is to bounce at this 40 level, 40.25, bounce here, get up to 43, get above it with some displacement. That'll bring us to 47, above 47, 53. That one's Roblox. So that's about an hour. I appreciate you guys. I gotta go get my kids from the school bus. I'm gonna get this set. I'll get it downloaded, get it on YouTube, and I'll have it posted later today. Thank you guys for joining in. I'll see you later. We'll be in a stock stream tomorrow morning, most likely. Oh, yeah, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow should be more volatile, so we'll be in early birds tomorrow morning for everybody. See you guys.